Namaskar. In today's episode of this satsang, we are about to talk about something very close to who we are. We're going to explore a little bit about our own identity because the identity is something that we get stuck with. So, in order to explore that, we start with one fundamental question, and that's a question which is a very important question in the 21st century because this is a century, these are times when everything is measured by its benefit. Very often we say that the purpose and the benefit has kind of got merged with each other. Something has no purpose if it doesn't have a benefit. Now, this is a very, very profound thought, and I don't essentially agree with it because the benefits and the purpose is really different. Purpose is more spiritual, and benefit talks about the material aspects of things. So, if benefit is material, the spiritual dimension of benefit is purpose. But in that sense, as the spiritual and material world has both kind of taken, when it both takes prominence, then purpose and benefit kind of have to be both examined. So the question that we beg today, the question that begs for an answer today is, well, every day we are talking about sadhana. Sadhana, we said, is deep committed practice. And we have talked about 3 hours of sadhana in a 24-hour day. Now, 3 hours of sadhana, we are saying, that's what this Fit for Life program from Karmyo for 21st Century is all about. We are saying that you got to dedicate 3 hours a day in your sadhana. It's not just, chanting a mantra for 5 minutes or doing a particular exercise routine for 20 minutes. It's not just that. We are demanding 3 hours a day for this sadhana. We have mentioned what those elements of the sadhana are, etc., and all those kind of things we have already discussed. But the fundamental question is why? Why should we spend that much time? What is the need? What will we gain? What is the benefit? Without an enumeration of a benefit, without the enumeration of gains, what's in it for me? No, nothing is relevant in today's age. So today we are going to really understand what's in it for me. When we talk about the sadhana, in this sadhana or in this deep committed practice, in the daily routine, what's in it for me? Why should I spend this time? After all, I am born and then on some day, and then I will die on some day. There is a finite amount of time period that is there within this, and that is how we all generally tend to define life. Our lives are made up of this finite time period, is how generally, I'm not going into any abstruse or esoteric philosophy, but just generally speaking, that is how we define life. And that is finite. So every moment, every hour, every day is very important. We kind of manage our time very carefully. So why should we spend this time? Why should we invest? Why should we waste? Whatever we want to use, whichever we look at it. But whether we look at it as an investment or expenditure or wastage, whatever it is, but still it's some way in which the time is going away. So what am I gaining? I'm losing my time to 3 hours of sadhana. What am I gaining? Now, in order to understand that, we need to really go a little bit into our identities. Now, as I've said earlier also, our identities generally we look at in 2 different ways. One through our professional pursuits, and the other through our personal or social or socio-cultural pursuits, so to say. The professional pursuits really define what we do in order to earn a living or earn a livelihood or to earn money. Simply speaking, if a doctor is earning his livelihood, his or her livelihood by conducting the work of a doctor, by treating patients, by healing their diseases. In the same way, an engineer, a construction worker, a manager, a businessman, a politician, an artist, a musician, a vocalist, a player, an athlete, a carpenter, a mason, a potter, all the work that we do, a shopkeeper, a retailer, a general businessman, a manager, a junior manager, an executive, a senior executive. We use all these terms as designations. These are terms that define our professional life, and that becomes our identity. Again, we're not here to make any statement about good, bad, no value judgments about this, that, oh, don't connect yourself with these kind of identities. The fact is, this is what is going on. That is the reality of this century. So, these designations are part of our identity. The other identity that we take up is connected with our relationships in our social life, socio-cultural or personal life, so to say. We are part of a family. In our family, we are either sons and daughters, or parents, fathers and mothers, or brothers, sisters, or we might be connecting with our more extended family, uncle, auntie, niece, nephew, etc. Then beyond that, we live somewhere, we have a locality, so we connect with our neighborhood. We connect with our town, our village, or our city, or our district, or our state. I'm from Texas, I'm from Oklahoma, I'm from New Jersey, or I'm from the West Coast, East Coast, I'm European, I'm Australian, that we go on to the continent, or a country, I'm Indian, I'm a South African, or a Nigerian, or all these are identities that we take up. If we are supporting a particular football team, we say, oh, I'm a supporter of Arsenal, or Real Madrid, or whatever. If I'm sometimes we relate with stuff, not just other people. The stuff could be I play the xylophone, so I relate with this. This is what I love. I'm a lover of this. I'm a lover of that food. These are all identities. I'm a foodie. Someone who loves food would say, I'm a foodie. These are all different identities we take up. Now notice something, and that's the reality. There's no saying that, these identities are much lower identities, you have a much higher identity and all that. All that is correct, but that's for another discussion on another day. Today we are just taking the reality as it is, what's going on. Now, as we do that, we must understand that all these identities are connected with the work that we do, with a performance, with performances that we enact. A doctor or a surgeon is enacting a performance of surgery or healing of patients, and so on. A designer is designing. That all of that converts to the work that we are doing. So that's work. That's what we call karma. That's the karma of karma yoga. So karma in Indian languages means work, activity, work that we do. It connects, work that we do is connected with our behavior, our attitudes, our value system. These translate into the work that we do at any point of time. So mainly our actions. Now, where do our actions emanate from? That's the next question. Where do the work that we do, our actions, where do they come from? What's the source of those actions at any point of time? Well, the one thing that no one will deny is that actions come from our qualifications. If I'm qualified to practice law, then I am a lawyer. If I'm qualified to practice medicine, then I am a doctor, a medical doctor. If I am qualified and I have got an appointment letter to work as a manager or as an engineer, then I am allowed to perform that job. So a qualification is very important. Even if you have not got a written documented appointment letter, but still, no matter what you are doing, if you're a father, only after you are qualified by having given birth or having adopted a child. So a father or a mother or a parent, So all these qualifications really determine the work that we do. So we see that qualifications or quality is integrated, is joined at the hip with the work that we do or that we are allowed to do. or the performances that we perform. So, qualification, you can see, notice the qualification includes the word quality. So, quality is what is there, we develop within us. As we live lives and as we do things, we develop qualities. And these qualities are I can use a term called published, or the qualities are manifested as our work or our actions or our activities. In the Bhagavad Gita, when Arjun asks Sri Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the most knowledgeable person considered in amongst Hindu scriptures. So he's asked by Arjun, what is the relationship between nature and artificial, what we do, our actions. Our actions are stuff that we are doing. There's an agency involved, there's our will involved, and then there's nature, things that are just happening automatically. So he's trying to understand what is the relationship between these two. And Krishna tells him, Prakrite Kriyamanani. He's talking about the relationship between Prakriti and Kriya. That's what is natural and what is artificial, what we do. Prakriti and Kriya, the relationship. Prakriti Kriyamanani Gune Karmani Sarvasya. That means it's gun. Gun means qualities. It's the qualities that gives rise to our actions. The qualities that we have, those manifest into actions. And that's all that is what he's saying. Gune Karmani Sarvasya. Sarvasya means that's it, nothing more. That's it. Now, what is quality? We say, I have this quality. This is a quality that is in me. But if when the doctor operates and cuts us apart, what comes out from inside our bodies are not qualities. What comes out may be kidneys or bones and muscles and tissues and ligaments, but nothing, we don't see the quality coming out like a fountain. So quality is something that is intangible. That's the spiritual dimension of our actions. So if our actions are in the material world, then quality is the spiritual aspect of our material actions, of our actions. So quality in that sense is spirituality. And this quality that we develop in ourselves, where do those come from? How do we develop qualities? Well, as we try to answer that question, we actually come to the answer to our first question that we raised. What's the benefit of doing sadhana? Well, the benefit of sadhana is that sadhana is what helps us to develop qualities within ourselves. It's only through deep committed practice that we develop qualities within ourselves. And those qualities manifest into our actions, our behaviors. And that action and behavior translates into our identity, who we are. And that's what becomes the interface with which the real me interacts with this whole world around me. So the interaction, the interface between everything else and me, that interface, that integration will happen actually through the qualities that I imbibe, which will come from the sadhana that I am doing every day. And so that's the relationship. That's why we are spending 3 hours every day in this sadhana. That's why we are so demanding. We are not saying, okay, do 5 minutes of chanting or 20 minutes of this exercise and you'll be done. No, give it some time because it's very important. This is who you are, the sadhana, the practice. So give time to deep, committed practice. And that's just the practice of your operating system, of your humanness. And then you need to do sadhana on your apps, specifically who you want to, the things that you want to do, the expertise of your other apps that you will run on your this human being that you are. So just 3 hours of sadhana for being human. Why? Because sadhana leads to quality, quality leads to work, work leads to identity, identity leads to value, value leads to gain and benefit. You see the equation working? Well, that's it for today, folks. Take it easy, take care. Namaskar.